Happy full moon in Taurus. This Taurus full moon becomes exact at 8:34 a.m. Eastern Time in New York on November 12th, which is also 13:34 Greenwich Mean Time. This full moon occurs during the annual 11:11 portal, which is known to be a time of timeline convergence. During this portal, which lasts for approximately 72 hours before and after November 11th, we have the opportunity to heal karma rapidly and step into our highest possible timeline. There is an opposition between the Taurus moon and the Sun and Mercury, which is retrograde, both in Scorpio, which is giving us the opportunity to make room for greater abundance, joy, and fulfillment in our lives by letting go of the ghosts of the past. If there ever was a time to let go of the past, it is now. Mercury retrograde in Scorpio plus the Sun in Scorpio and this 11:11 portal all together is screaming, let go of what is no longer needed. Doing some sort of letting go or purging ritual on this full moon would be a really good idea and a great way to align with the energies. One easy exercise is to write down everything you're ready to let go of on small strips of paper. Make a fire out in your yard if it's not too cold, or maybe you have a fire indoors, and ritualistically, one by one, toss each piece of paper into the fire, and as it burns, you're releasing whatever you're ready to let go of. That's a really great ritual to do. During this portal, the opportunity is ripe for transforming deeply held beliefs. Scorpio's energy will bring some darkness up to the surface in order for you to see it, while Taurus's energy will afford you the opportunity to use your willpower to upgrade those limiting beliefs. Beliefs are a tricky thing to work with, as most of our deeply held beliefs are buried so deeply that they're tricky to identify. For example, if I were to ask you this question, do you truly love yourself? How would you respond? You might reflexively answer with a yes, but does it truly feel like a yes on a deep level? If not, then you know that there is still work yet to do. There's a particular common belief that gets passed down through the generations that is so pervasive, it's almost like a virus. That is the belief that I can only love myself when blank. And it could be I can only love myself when I get a boyfriend. I can only love myself when I pay off my credit cards. I can only love myself when I become a healer. I can only love myself when I lose weight, etc. Check in with yourself right now and see if you have this belief held within. Are there conditions that are set in your mind for when you are allowed to love yourself? Oftentimes what happens is that the thing that you have to do before you can love yourself becomes a moving goalpost that you never reach. You never reach that magical point. This one simple core belief of I can only love myself when fill in the blank will draw to you all sorts of difficult relationships and situations in order to bring awareness to this false belief held within. Literally, all the trauma in your life up until this point may have only been leading you up to the realization that you are not loving yourself unconditionally. Once you flip the switch and decide that there are no longer any conditions for your self-love, there may no longer be any reason for your subconscious mind to draw any sort of trauma to you. Fascinating, huh? The journey of self-love is arguably the most important lesson that we work on while in a physical vessel, because it literally leads us back to God. The truth is that God, source, universe, creator, all that is, whatever you want to call it, loves all of its creations unconditionally, and that includes each and every one of us. It seems like we are the only beings on the planet that go against God and decide that for whatever reason, we are less lovable. Does a tree, a bee, or a squirrel sit around and wonder why it sucks or why it's not good enough? Probably not. When you connect with the same flow of Zen or beingness that a tree, a bee, or a squirrel feels all the time, you will find that there's no such thing as a lack of love. When you find that flow, that center, you're connected with God and you can feel the love of God. This is why it's usually much easier to be nice to yourself and to love yourself when you've just left a yoga or meditation class or received some sort of energy healing. When you feel the love of Source, even in small doses, you become momentarily aligned with it, and the ego illusion of conditional self-love and conditional love melts away. The tough part is maintaining it, but like anything in life, practice creates momentum. This is why it's crucial to create healthy and supportive daily rituals for yourself. The Taurus energies will really support the implementation of new rituals. The most important time of the day to have your rituals is in the morning, of course. When you have morning rituals, which are helping to guide you into becoming the future self you want to become, your days are most certainly going to be more productive, more fulfilling, and joyful. One of my favorite morning rituals is to visualize the future that I want to manifest. Daily, I am seeding the intention into the field that I would like to create this future that I'm visualizing every morning. Grounding techniques are also key to incorporate as daily rituals. Getting out into nature, taking care of the yard, and cooking are a few great ways to ground now that it's autumn in much of the northern hemisphere here. And I've compiled a great list of 28 practical ways to get grounded. You can check that out on my website, or it is also here on this channel. Just Google 28 ways to get grounded, Matthew John, and you should find it. Actually, it would be 25. The video version is 25 ways to get grounded on the Higher Self channel. There's another aspect of grounding that I will discuss now. Grounding into 5D reality and becoming a 5D manifestor. This type of grounding is especially relevant for those of us who are on this ascension path and constantly oscillating between the third and fifth dimensions. To truly ground into the 5D plane, we need to move from illusion into reality. To live in reality is not just about becoming aware of the truth of the matrix and the extraterrestrial influences of this planet. That's part of it. It's important to acknowledge the truth of the game that we're playing in this holographic reality. This ascension is 100% real, and us lightworkers and starseeds are 100% real. To live in reality, though, also means moving from illusory ego consciousness into the reality of soul consciousness. Think of a time right now when you felt spontaneously connected with God, universe, source, or the all, whatever you want to call it, and felt totally at peace. Think of that moment. We all have had those moments, no matter who we are. That feeling that you experience in that moment is what reality truly feels like. That is the reality of the 5D grid. That is true reality. In those moments of clarity, the negative voices in your head are gone, and you're no longer fighting with what is. In those moments of peace, nothing is wrong, and life is all right. As I hinted at in this ascension process, it is absolutely natural and in one sense necessary that we oscillate between the 3D and the 5D. It is quite normal to be constantly diving in and out of different realities as we navigate the spiritual awakening. However, when we consciously intend to ground into the 5D grid, it becomes possible to spend more time living in earnest in the reality of 5D. What is required is to use your willpower as the conscious driver of the vehicle that is your consciousness. You are the conscious driver of the vehicle that is your consciousness. And when you use that willpower to move yourself out of worry, regret, projection, jealousy, and judgment, and into the peace and isness of 5D reality, that's what is being asked of all of us. You have the power to shift your focus at any moment. One of the most important lessons on the spiritual journey is learning to move your focus from what is, which is actually not usually actually reality. Rather, by definition, whatever you're experiencing is the aggregation of your past perceptions somewhat focused on what is actually going on around you. None of us are ever actually truly perceiving reality as it is, and that's one of the funny parts of the game, and if you really think about it, you'll see that it's true. This is why 10 people can see the same movie and see something totally different. This is why 10 people can be in a restaurant together and a couple starts fighting and a table gets flipped over and 10 different people will have different stories about what happened. We're never really perceiving the same thing. This is why your dog perceives life as much differently as you do. And your mom perceives life differently than you do. And your husband or boyfriend perceives life differently than you do. We're not all on the same page. And when you realize that on a deep level, it helps to pull you out of the illusions of the matrix. And you realize that in order to really excel and expand and move forward on this journey, we need to start paying attention to what we want to be. And this is the essence of the law of attraction. We want to see what we want to see. And this doesn't mean being stupid. And, if you, for example, if you're having terrible pains in your body and you haven't gotten checked out by a doctor yet, don't be stupid and just try to use the law of attraction to heal yourself, because people do that and it's not a good idea. But in general, we want to start seeing life as we want it to be. So if we want life to be peaceful and joyful and abundant, we have to start consciously seeing that in life, no matter what we're used to seeing. Because someone who wants peace, joy, and abundance in their life is likely someone who came from lack of peace, joy, and abundance. And I'm not saying that's everyone. A lot of us have already started to manifest peace, joy, and abundance in our life, and we want more of it, and that's awesome. But for the vast majority of us, we come onto the spiritual journey from a place of pain or from a place of dissatisfaction with life. And once we get on the journey, we want to manifest peace, love, joy, abundance. And we start reading the Law of Attraction books. And one of the most important parts of the Law of Attraction is you need to see what you want to see. You need to start to train your subconscious mind to look for peace, joy, love, and abundance. It's there always. You know why it's there? Can you go outside right now and look at a tree? I don't care where you're living. Even if you're living in Manhattan, there's still trees on the sidewalk. And is a tree in peace, love, joy, and abundance? Abso-freaking-lutely. There is no doubt. Even the most asleep person could probably, if they really thought about it, perceive that a tree is living in peace, joy, and love. And the tree is abundant because the tree has life. So if we learn from the tree, if we learn from the animals, if we learn from the Mother Earth, we can start to train ourselves to experience what we want to experience. So that's the essence of the lesson that I'm presenting here. So when you see the world as you want it to become, while still acknowledging it as it is, as in however you're perceiving it, without judgment, you're then becoming a conscious co-creator. This is why doing that morning ritual, as I said, is so important. And what I mean by that is that you acknowledge what you are perceiving. Again, if you have pains in your body, you're acknowledging it. You want it to be healed completely and be nothing. But if you haven't gotten it checked out by a doctor, how are you going to deal with it using supplements or diet or whatever sort of treatment you need, right? So we don't want to ignore reality. We don't want to ignore what we're perceiving. We want to perceive, not judge it as either good or bad, and then see what we want to see in everything. This takes a lifetime of training, but we're all being trained as conscious co-creators, and this is part of it. You can only truly consciously co-create from the lens of reality, and by reality, I mean that sense of that 5D grounded presence, grounded in the grid, feeling the love of God and love of Source. When you're feeling those prevalent emotions of 5D, gratitude, appreciation, relaxation, safety, joy, contentment, you can then become a conscious contributor to the creation of your highest possible timeline and the creation of the highest possible timeline for all of humanity. The mechanism for doing this is by intending and visualizing, as I said, what you want to see manifest. We literally speak and visualize the future into existence when we become 5D manifestors. Since this particular full moon falls during the powerful 11:11 portal, whatever you consciously intend to manifest during this time will be greatly amplified. When timeline convergence occurs, which is happening right now, it is possible that instant or at least very quick manifestation can happen in some cases. So be on the lookout for miracles during November 11th, November 12th especially. Be on the lookout for miracles. You do have the power to effect significant changes on your own. Every intention you make, action you take, word you speak, or thought you listen to either contributes to the successful completion of the ascension, this is how crucial it is, or the perpetuation of the lower dimensional timelines of the past that have kept humanity in a false matrix of energetic slavery. When you truly grasp the immense responsibility that comes with being a starseed and a light worker during this sacred ascension time, your solar plexus is really able to heal. Your solar plexus. If this is how the universe really works, and it does, then you cannot possibly ever be a victim. You know that there is no more time to waste, and you really commit yourself fully to the ascension and to your service work. This is the 5D reality. The game is as real as it is a hologram. Just like everything on the journey, reality itself is a paradox, and by acknowledging both sides of the paradox, as in we acknowledge what we're perceiving, but we see it as we want it to see, then we're truly able to ground into the 5D grid and experience the reality of a relaxed nervous system. When your nervous system is relaxed and you find yourself walking into a public place where most people's nervous systems are not relaxed, like a busy supermarket, you will see how you, as the one with the relaxed nervous system, is actually living in more of reality than those running around with shallow breathing and obsessive thoughts running through their heads. This is what it's like to be awake in the Matrix. When you're awake in the Matrix, nothing you desire is out of reach anymore, including money. Manifesting those dollar signs. Taurus is associated with the earthly and the material, including money, beauty, clothing, music, and sports. Money can be a taboo topic in the spiritual community, but it doesn't need to be. Some people still are hanging on to the idea that in order to be enlightened, one must let go of all material possessions, or at least be very poor. This is an outdated idea left over from the age of Pisces, where the extremely dualistic economic system thrived. In the age of Aquarius, it is all about equality, including economic equality. It is inevitable, due to the astrological and astronomical influences on this planet, that the current economic system will undergo a great shift, and the canyon of wealth between the rich minority and the poor majority will be transmuted into a system that supports everyone having more than enough. Will it transform into a cryptocurrency-based system? Maybe. A lot of people are saying that. I do believe it will, and I'd love to hear your comments below. Money is not the root of all evil. Money is simply numbers on a computer, pieces of paper, and pieces of metal. That's really all it is. The evil part of the economic system is the power structure behind it. The money itself is simply a tool to enforce and perpetuate this power structure, but the money itself is not the root of the problem. Money is neutral. It is a tool for consciousnesses to interact with one another and has neither a positive nor negative charge. Money is unlimited, which is clearly proven by the fact that the Federal Reserve here in the United States prints exorbitant amounts of paper bills at will, which are backed by absolutely nothing. What is your relationship with money? Do you have enough to support yourself and your family in spite of the fact that everything keeps getting more expensive as time goes on? Do you have enough to afford organic foods, nutritional supplements, and body work, or whatever else you need to keep your body healthy? Do you have enough to travel once in a while? There's a whole spectrum on which people can fall into different categories based on the nature of their dysfunctional relationships with money. Some people are stuck in poverty consciousness and believe that money is evil, and because of this, the system because of this system, they will never have enough to thrive. On the other end of the spectrum, there are people who are in reality very wealthy, and yet they are everlastingly on an obsessive, hairy chase to acquire more money based on a subconscious or even conscious fear that they still don't have enough yet to feel safe. In between these two extremes, we find a middle road of a healthy relationship with money. On this middle road, money is neither a source of stress nor greed. Your service work is very much tied into your financial health. As you step more fully and committedly into your service work, whether that is tied up in your career or not, you will energetically align yourself with the vibration of abundance. The essence of service work is giving back. You are giving back to yourself, to your family, to others, and to the world. Giving back puts you into the vibration of abundance because when you're giving back, you're affirming that you have enough to allow yourself to give back, whether it be your time, money, effort, or all three. So as you activate your service work, you will naturally activate your maximum abundance, and you get to choose what your maximum abundance looks like. It's a good time right now to harness the energies of this 1111 gateway and this full moon and come up with a clear picture of what you'd like your maximum abundance to look like. Here are some questions you can ask yourself to figure this out. How much money would I ultimately like to earn per year? What kind of home would I ultimately like to live in? What kind of environment would I ultimately like to live in? What kind of family would I ultimately like to have? What kind of circle of friends would I ultimately like to have? What kind of schedule would I ultimately like to have? Which other possessions or luxuries would I ultimately like to have? What kind of health and vitality would I ultimately like to have? And I would suggest, if you'd like, to pause this video, and if you have the time today, to do some journaling on this right now. Go back and rewind a little bit and write down the questions, and do some journaling on those to give yourself some clarity on what your particular maximum abundance looks like. There's no right or wrong answers here. One person may desire to earn $5 million a year, own several mansions around the world, and have a large group of wealthy and active friends, work 6 days a week for 12 hours a day. And someone else might prefer to earn $15,000 a year, live in a tiny off-grid home, grow his own food, and have an abundance of free time, few friends, and few possessions. The truth is that neither of those lifestyles, which seem so far away from each other, are less or more or less spiritual than the other. There are no absolutes in this game. You can ascend as a solitary monk with few possessions or as a wealthy businessman. It is a matter of personal choice and which type of lifestyle would be more aligned with your particular life plan. The soul situates your life circumstances based on what it knows would be the ideal set of conditions that will be most likely to give you the greatest opportunity to negotiate the lessons you need to move through in this lifetime in order to balance your toroidal field and move into the next stage of your evolution. So if growing up in poverty is going to give you the best opportunity to move through your specific lessons, that's exactly what will happen. If growing up wealthy will give you the best opportunity to move through your specific lessons, then that is what will happen. Neither situation is more or less spiritual than the other, and regardless of how you were raised, once you access the teachings of the law of attraction, you are able to shift into wealth if you so desire. You do have free will. Once you're here in a body, you get to choose the life you want to live. Perhaps you intuitively feel that a life of excessive riches would be a distraction from the lessons you came here to work on. Or likewise, perhaps you feel deep down that building a life of financial wealth will help you to accomplish what you came here to accomplish. Every single person is different, and there are absolutely no rights or wrongs here. Anyone who tells you that a rich life is any less spiritual than a poor life or vice versa is missing the point of life. Perhaps hearing these words feels freeing to you. Perhaps you've been desiring to be financially comfortable for your entire life, but there's been that ever-present nagging feeling of guilt somewhere inside of you. Perhaps that feeling of guilt has been protecting you because in a particular past life, you did inherit material riches and you use your material wealth to hurt or take advantage of others. If you feel like this applies to you, then know that you are allowed to do things differently in this lifetime, and by doing so, you will balance the karma of the past. Guilt, even subconscious guilt, blocks your maximum abundance. You have the free will to choose what your maximum abundance looks and feels like. And here are some affirmations you can use, or just some beliefs to consider that will support you having a healthy relationship with money. And if you'd like, you can use these as daily affirmations for a while. Money is not evil. It is just a mechanism we use to interact with each other. Money is unlimited. I deserve to have enough money in order to thrive. I do not apologize or feel guilty for having enough to thrive because money is unlimited. I can choose to give as much or as little away to others who are in need of more money. I get to decide how much money is enough for me. Money will never make me feel truly safe. I get to decide whether I'm truly safe or not. I hereby activate my 100% maximum abundance for this lifetime. I deserve this. I am financially free. Relationship karma boiling to the surface. With Mercury retrograde joining the Sun in Scorpio, relationships are at the forefront of pretty much everyone's mind. Either a current relationship is having difficulties and is being renegotiated, or a past relationship is coming out of the woodwork to be healed further. If you haven't yet heard my most recent New Moon in Scorpio transmission, please take a listen to it as I detail the complexities of relationship karma and how to work through it. You can search on this channel New Moon in Scorpio Matthew John and you'll find it. You can also go to my website, youaredivinehuman.org, and go to my articles page and click on the New Moon in Scorpio post. No matter what is coming up in your relationships right now, honesty is always the right policy. In fact, honesty just might be your ticket out of whatever uncomfortable situation you're finding yourself in with that particular person. The universe will support you in honoring your truest desires. With Neptune stationing in Pisces, we are likely to be extra sensitive to the emotions that others are feeling, so this makes being honest all the more difficult. However, if we aren't honest with others, we will likely find ourselves escaping into the safety net of our daydreaming minds, rather than hashing things out on the ground level. To wrap it all up, this Taurus full moon 11/11 portal is all about healing deep wounds from the past and eradicating deeply held limiting beliefs. We also have a massive opportunity to manifest the life we want to live in abundance on all levels. Wishing you a magically uplifting and transformative 11/11 gateway and full moon in Taurus. This has been Matthew John. If you're not familiar with who I am a spiritual teacher, spiritual mentor, international speaker, starseed guide, intuitive healer, and quantum energy healer working directly with the Ascended Masters. I'm a gifted intuitive wisdom channeler and transmitter of healing frequencies. I've been on an over decade-long awakening journey, and I'd love for you to go check out my website so you can know more about me and see what I can offer you. It is youaredivinehuman.org, all spelled out, youaredivinehuman.org. And you can check out my library of articles and videos and my interviews on different shows. And you can also check out my worldwide private sessions over phone and Skype, WhatsApp too. And what I'm offering now is my super popular spiritual mentoring program. I'm taking on new people for the second half of November and for December and into the new year. And I'd love to just tell you a little bit about what these spiritual mentoring packages are all about and why you might want to consider joining in on the fun. It's a 4, 5, or 6, or even longer session package. You get to work one-on-one with me, and you also get bonus webinars to do on your own. The 4-session package, which is package A, you get a 90-minute soul plan reading, spiritual mentoring session to start out. What I'm doing is connecting in with your spirit guides and my guides to read your life plan. So I'm reading past, present, future. If there's anything from the past that feels unhealed or you feel like you don't know why something happened in your life, I'm going to read for you why it happened on a soul level. What did your soul intend for you to learn from it? And what did the other people's souls who were involved intend to learn from it as well. We're going to talk about your present and what are your soul lessons that you're working through right now. And I'm going to look at your future. I'm going to see your future on several timelines, and especially on your highest possible timeline. And I'm going to see what it is that your soul really wants you to manifest in this lifetime. I'm going to take a look at your relationships, both current and future. I'll be able to read the karma that you're balancing between certain relationships in this lifetime. So those relationships, just like we talked a lot about in this Scorpio new moon video. But those relationships that you have the most difficulties with, that are probably coming up to the surface right now because of the astrological influences, what is the karma that is being balanced? What happened in past lives? How does this karma get balanced? How does this get healed? We're going to go over all of that in the soul plan reading. That's just the first session. Second session, we do the quantum energy healing and soul retrieval. You also get an inner child healing and a cord cutting ceremony. So this is 90 minutes of deep healing work. I'm going to be working on all of your chakras, and we work with the Ascended Masters and a group of angelic beings to heal not only your chakras, as I said, but also your energy field, to clean your energy field completely so you're not carrying anything with you that you don't need, and to just basically upgrade your whole energetic fields. I have had really remarkable results with this, especially lately. People saying it moved them to a totally new timeline. It moved them to a totally new level of their evolution, and they feel so different after doing just the one quantum energy healing session with me. It's extremely effective in a very short amount of time. Third session, we do the intuitive nutrition reading, where I am connecting with your guides and my guides to read what's going on in your physical body and do a body scan for you, and we channel through information that is going to help you to heal your body if you got any chronic illnesses or anything going on, and if not, just to maximize your health and longevity. And I'm going to give you an 8 to 10 page report in your email within a couple weeks after the session that will detail a list of supplements that are recommended for you, and also a diet that's recommended for you. We're also going to dive into the metaphysical purposes of any diseases or pains you might be feeling, and how to move through those, and how they're also related to your chakras. You get a chakra scan, and I'm going to explain to you what I read in each one of your chakras and what it all means. And it's very scientific the way I do it. Fourth session, we do a Starseed discovery session where you get to travel to your home planet or your place of galactic origin. So you get to find out if you are in fact a Starseed, or hey, maybe you're even like a planet, which can happen, or a galaxy. It's rare, but there are people who literally are here, but their true essence is a galaxy somewhere far away. It's wild. I'll explain to you how the whole Starseed mechanism works, how to know if you're a Starseed, and we'll find out for sure. My guides will tell me where you're from, and also you will get to experience it directly by taking a journey to your home planet or your place of origin. It's usually people's favorite part of the package is the Starseed journey. You get all that in the first package, and also you get 2 bonus webinars. You get a Putting the Past in the Past webinar, and you get a Mastering Your Intuition webinar, which you can do on your own time. You also get spiritual homework between each session, and I support you, unlimited support via email between each session. Package B is all that plus a past life regression, and the past life regression is a little different than other people do it. What we do is we set the intention for you to experience the past lives that will be most relevant to help you understand what your soul lessons are and your karmic relationships. So you usually get to travel to 2 or 3 lifetimes and experience them directly. It's incredibly healing to experience, especially the past lives where there's a lot of karma still carried over. To experience those directly, it's incredibly healing. So you get that in the package B. The package C, you get all that plus a future life progression. You get to travel forward in time in this lifetime to experience your highest possible timeline at different specific points, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, or more in the future, to experience what it is, to see and feel what your life has in store for you if all goes well and you're on your highest possible timeline. And you also, with package C, you get 4 additional webinars on top of the 2 that you already get. You also get a deeper level forgiveness, awakening the divine masculine, navigating the dark night of the soul, and dissolving the ego. That's package C. Package D is also an extension of package C. You get everything in package C plus some additional sessions. So if you have any questions about the packages or anything else, if you have a personal question or if you have a question about this full moon, please, you can go to my website. In the bottom right corner, there's a little tab. It has my picture on it. It says Matthew John, have questions, ask Matthew. All you do is click on that tab, type in your question, and type in your email address, and it goes straight to my email, and I'll get back to you usually within 24 hours, almost always within 24 hours. Personal questions are fine as long as they're brief and it wouldn't require a full reading. If it is something more complicated, I will ask that you do book a reading. But please, I'm open to hearing from anyone. If you want to also, of course, comment below. I love receiving comments. I don't always have a chance to respond to all of them, but I do my best, and I do read all of them. So once again, thank you everyone for listening to this transmission. I'm wishing you all the best, the most amazing transformation on this 11/11 portal and this Taurus new moon, full moon. It is a magical time. This is a very special time, especially over Monday and Tuesday, the 11th and 12th, but also the 13th and beyond. I mean, in general, we're in a very special time right now. I wish you all the best, and until next time, this has been Matthew John.